Hello everyone, my name is Justin Phillips and it's great to have you on today's webinar. I want to thank you for being here and having the opportunity to gain some of the extraordinary wisdom from our very special guest, Jost Sauer, aka the Lifestyle Medicine Man. And before we get started, I'm just going to ask you for your cooperation. Please don't record the call and not to share it to mass media and social media sites and Facebook, Twitter, etc. We are recording the webinar and there will be links that'll be posted. So you will be able to see a recording and share it with friends. We just ask that it's not done on mass big public sites and things like that. And today I have the privilege of sharing the amazing Jost Sauer with you all. And Jost was born in Germany in 1958. He's a bachelor in health science and acupuncture and diplomas in oriental massage and structural balancing, sports injury management and so forth. He began working as a therapist in 1991. And I actually had the pleasure of meeting Jost at my college where I studied at the Australian College of Natural Therapists, where Jost was a supervisor of the traditional Chinese medicine clinic there. And he qualified as a doctor of Chinese medicine, lectured in Chinese medicine for 10 years. Jost has founded and operated health centers and worked internationally with celebrity clients all over the world. His health and fitness has always been a major passion. You know, Jost just has to, do a little bit of his kung fu and you'll see like how amazing, vital he is. And his background includes things like competitive skiing at a national level, bodybuilding, triathlon, Ironman training and so forth. But when he discovered Kung Fu and Tai Chi, he really realized that fitness is only a part of the equation and vitality is the other part. And this led to decades of more research into how to live and how to use nutritional supplements and herbs and so forth with an ideal diet, therapeutic exercise, weightlifting, martial arts, meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, and the traditional Chinese medicine body clock. So it's when he added the 24-hour movement of Qi through the body, which is a kind of a Chinese medicine version of the body clock, how our energy works in the body, and that really connects our day-to-day activities to the natural cycles. He developed the Qi cycle lifestyle. And this is the ultimate in lifestyle medicine. He founded on thousands of years of Chinese medicine, with over 30 years of Jost's academic research and practical observations from living it himself. He's a very dynamic, inspiring speaker. He's renowned for delivering inventive and entertaining presentations and workshops on lifestyle medicine. And as an ex-addict himself, lifestyle medicine for addiction, he's been able to really impact incredible people's lives. I remember last time I was hanging out with Jost a lot, you were running the only drug rehabilitation clinic, traditional Chinese medicine drug rehabilitation clinic in the Southern Hemisphere. So he's very, very innovative. He's got a high media profile. He's a regular contributor to health and lifestyle magazines. He's also an author of some incredible books, Higher and Higher, Drug Repair That Works, The Perfect Day Plan, and The Rebel's Guide to Recovery, and Clock On to Health as well, and even has some DVDs which he humbly says has got some bad kung fu on it, but I think he's amazing. So it's my great privilege to introduce Jost Sauer to you all today. Thank you, Jost, for coming on the call.
Thank you, Justin. Awesome.
All right, so I've pumped your tires up nicely. Yeah.
Something about me.
You're amazing, mate. You're amazing, and it was great. Nicole caught up with you recently, and from your esoteric style acupuncture, she felt enormously better. She had a massive boost in Qi and energy. So super grateful for everything you do. So obviously you're an amazing expert in health and vitality. So can you please tell us of your experience when you've used the Redox? What did you feel and your Qi and energy levels when you use Redox for yourself?
Oh yes, I mean Redox obviously stands out from all the other products. So I've been experimenting, especially self-experimenting with supplements, Chinese herbs for over 30 years. So I learned it obviously, but I wanted to also experiment with it to really see, push the envelope, push the boundary, see what it can do, and then explore what the real benefit is. So I worked with every supplement out there and in multiple doses, obviously. And so I've got a personal understanding of what each of the products do. So when I first got introduced to ASEA, that was back in 2013, I think, first time. And in those days, it was obviously illegal to get into the country, and which resonated very well with my personality. So I ordered cartons and cartons. And my office, my clinic in Penning was packed in cartons. And then we experimented with it to see what really works and how it works. And because I had running a drug rehab, but at the same time, I had clients very open to dealing with substances in the first place anyway. So when I asked them to put on a trial of something to take to see what it's going to do, everyone says, yes, or coordinate. Yeah. So it got very interesting from the start because it revealed immediately to me that this is totally different to anything I was working with. While I was doing a lot of the Chinese herbs with ashwagandha, astragalus, rehmannia, all the ginsengs, then all the antioxidants and cordyceps sinensis, all the medicinal mushrooms. So I had a whole range of experience with how they acted on a seriously depleted organism. Because I must always tell people that it has been enormously beneficial to have worked with the extreme end of the scale of the people. So the people I worked with were primarily all professionals, not the kind of addict you would perceive to be an addict, because they were lawyers, accountants, all kind of people from all walks of life. Yeah. And just had an enormous habit and an extreme lifestyle. And the lifestyle was on the go all the time. And in order to satisfy the need to keep pushing the envelope, they used substances, and eventually it turned into addiction. But a lot of them took the substances to such an extent that it was very difficult to return to point of health. They basically have burned the candle not on both ends, just in the middle also. It was all basically gone. Yeah. And they had no choice other than to look at alternatives, because even taking the substance was not enough to give them some kind of vitality. So then having seen how quick people relate to Chinese herbs and medicinal mushrooms and so on, I've seen the immediate impact. So when this big shipment of ASEA came into my office, illegally acquired, which I said before, also, so then I added that to the treatment, and it immediately spiked in terms of effectiveness. So what already was powerful now took on to a new level. And then I started to reduce some of the other substances, and in order to enhance ASEA, and I saw once again results. So then I obviously looked into, okay, what's going on here? Where's the Chinese medicine here? Because when you dissect that water that's in there, there's nothing in there. So with all the other substances that I used, at least there was like 4 grams of ashwagandha, 3 grams of echinacea, whatever. It had something in there, but in there was nothing there. So obviously that was a bit of a hard one to take in the beginning. And then I experimented myself with it to the depths, and I realized it does work. It's no doubt about it. But because of my sensitivity to the meridian system, because I am a practitioner of the Kung Fu and have been doing for 35 years, so I practice daily for around 4 to 5 hours every day. So I have developed a sensitivity to what the body is doing. And in order to develop power and strength, you need to be really in tune with your body, because that's what Kung Fu training leads to. So therefore, I am a perfect observation material in that regard, because I can actually sense as soon as I take one little thing, I can actually sense where it goes and what it does and where it operates and what meridian it activates. With the ASEA, I found immediately it works via spleen and lung. So this actually is in line with what the science research is saying, that it's working on the mitochondria, that it's an antioxidant, etc. So because in Chinese medicine, the organ that's the closest to the mitochondria is in fact the spleen. So when we talk about mitochondrial deficiencies, chronic fatigue syndrome, etc., we're actually talking about spleen Qi deficiency. So when we talk about enhancing the mitochondria in Chinese medicine, you would say you work to enhance spleen and lung. So because spleen and lung in that regard have also an immune function, you not only enhance energy production, but you also build the ability to fight off invaders, even to the point where you actually enhance recovery, because obviously that's where the spleen is responsible for the productions of muscles. Good spleen means strong, healthy muscles, and endurance means good lung. So what I noticed with the ASEA is it enhances spleen function, so actually recovery immediately it was quite significant how it improved. So because due to my personal quite intense exposure to exercise on a daily basis, I'm very used to soreness and pain. So for me to actually discover recovery faster than what the ordinary means do is obviously very welcomed. But most importantly, I recognize it immediately. So for me, as exposed to the exercise to that extent, I see it as essential for the recovery process. But from a Qi perspective, for me, this is far more interesting, because before I go into my Tai Chi session or Kung Fu training, if I take ASEA, I am able to sink deeper into what we call the Dantian, the kidney root, because the power that we generate in Kung Fu comes from within the body. We don't use muscles, we use internal power. Of course, you develop strong muscles, but the focus is on the internal pathways. So in Tai Chi in particular, the focus is always to deeply sink into the body. We call it sinking. So we take the whole energy and go, sink, till there's nothing in the head. The idea is not to think, so that everything is going into the body. The body knows what it's doing. The body has got all the abilities to repair itself and to ward off. The body has got an intelligence that we can't comprehend. In Chinese medicine, we call the body the direct connection to Tao, or the Tao. So if we surrender to the body, we discover healing. We discover power. We discover possibilities to enhance our bodily function that otherwise is not possible. In order to sink deeply in, of course, we need to regulate the breathing. When you, for example, ordinary thinking, ordinary people, or stressed, mundane reality indicates a breathing level of the upper realm. So the breathing apparatus is actually right from the mouth to the sacrum. So you've got a whole spectrum. But most people, or the ordinary consciousness, operates in the upper realm of breathing. So it means you breathe very fast and shallow. So you do 30 breaths a minute. But if you do effective breathing, you're going all the way to the sacrum with every in-breath, keep it there and bring it back up again. So with proper training, you will do 3 breaths a minute. So if you do 3 breaths a minute, or 2 breaths or something in that level, you activate bodily functions and activate healing that otherwise is not possible. So of course you can do that in meditation while sitting, but in the Kung Fu, in the Tai Chi, we do that while we move the body and we put the body in stressful situations, like on one leg, jump up, do punch kicks, etc., spin kicks, etc. So while we do that, we focus on keeping the breath very slow, deep, very slow, deep. So that is what the skill in Tai Chi and in Kung Fu is all about. Because if you maintain that breath, you are in charge of every situation. You ward off, you have the power, because the power is deeply in the sacrum. So when I took ASEA, I noticed right away that action of going into stressful bodily situations, like a spin kick or jumping up and do a punch, the ASEA assists me to keep breathing deep. And it assists me of going slow in the breath. So while I was going hardcore and experimenting very heavily, physically, the ASEA assisted me in this process. So that means while I was doing that, I could then feel the chi moving to every part of the body. So that means it was moving the chi to the extremities, to the periphery, such as the fingertips, such as the arms. So what happens is, the more deeper I'm breathing, the more I was assisted with the ASEA, the more my body started to fill with chi, the more my muscles grew, the more my organs developed, the more blood was pushed to the extremities, the healthier and fitter I became.
Mm.
So Tai Chi, Kung Fu is a practice of health, because we're learning to move the body in conjunction with the breathing. But it's very hard to attain. And obviously that's where supplements come in. And that's what I noticed. You actually accelerate the process with doing ASEA. And this is in line exactly with all the YouTubes I've seen about the professional bike riders, runners, because they obviously have developed a very specific breathing technique. In order to go long-term running as a marathon runner, you can't use ordinary breathing. You can't use ordinary thinking. You would run 3 kilometers and be out of the race. So you need to understand how to use your mind to transcend deeply into the lower parts and stay there and keep this aspect activated, because that gives you the vitality after 10 kilometers, after 20 kilometers, after 30 kilometers. So if you're only here, you're exhausted very quickly. So that's why when shallow breathing and operating in the upper realm accelerates aging, which is why people would do Kung Fu training, Tai Chi training, and know how to breathe, yogis, etc. They slow down the aging. And I noted that now, because I'm now in my 60s, and I noted how it's now benefiting my life. So obviously, this is where the anti-aging aspect comes into, because ASEA assists that process. So because of my sensitivity of what the body is doing through my training and my skills, I can sense what the supplement is doing. And that's what I noticed with ASEA. Immediately, whoa, it's helping me with this. It's not doing much in terms of doing kidney building. You see, this is where it's so tricky, because you can't dissect what's in ASEA. You can't actually say, okay, the ingredients in here will do this, the ingredients will do that. For example, if you look at an Empress formula or well-being, or those they have 250 milligrams of ashwagandha, remania. So you can say, okay, because of that combination, it's doing the action on the kidney like that. So you can't actually dissect ASEA to say, okay, the ingredients of ASEA will act on this and will do this and will do that. That's why it's a controversial supplement, and obviously everything that's controversial I love in the first place anyway, because it means it doesn't go by the book, it doesn't go by the norm, and it's hidden. It's a mystery. Yeah, that's awesome, because that is exactly how the body wants us to operate, in the mystery, because in there is opportunities for change that otherwise wouldn't be possible. So the way, from my perspective, how ASEA works is it helps the body to go into this deep breathing aspect. So you actually move the body into the lower parts, and you got that slow wave of deep breathing and up. So you mean that then enhances the bodily functions. So which is why when you take ASEA with other supplements, it will enhance other supplements, which is why when you live a healthy life, ASEA will improve your life. Yeah. So this is where the healthier you live, the more ASEA will work on you. This is why I'm so in love with this thing. You can't corrupt it. It's not something that you can corrupt. It's not something that like cocaine. I can take 1 gram of cocaine. I'm going to feel awesome for all day. I don't have to do anything about it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I eat. I don't have to first have health food and take porridge in order for the cocaine to work.
Yeah.
Cocaine will always work. So you can live absolutely wrong lifestyle, you still feel good on cocaine.
Yeah.
So ASEA is on the exact other end of the scale,
Yeah.
It will enhance that, what the drugs are trying to do, because drugs take you into the lower parts. Drugs do exactly the same as the chi training does. That's why people love drugs. Like good cocaine immediately changes the breathing to deep breathing patterns.
Mm.
Like morphines, like the heroin, immediately goes deep, which is why when you take too much, it's going to stay there.
Yeah, you're going to die, yeah. Yeah. I saved a few people from heroin as a paramedic, yeah.
It just doesn't go up.
Yeah.
So obviously you have to come at the right time and push it up again. And then then naturally it goes down again, but it won't go up because the person took too much.
Yeah.
So all drugs operate on that level. Which is why when people take a drug, they go, ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They go, ah. Everything that makes us feel good, we go, ah.
Yeah. Even yawning.
Yeah, sexual arousal, ah.
Yeah.
Relaxation, ah. So what happens now? The breathing from shallow part goes into the lower part. So this is in fact what is health. So as soon as it goes all the way down and then slowly up again, you activate bodily functions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those bodily functions lead to health. And this is exactly what I noticed what ASEA is doing. It's helping you to do this. So that means the more you move towards a lifestyle that will incorporate that, the more you get, the healthier you get, the more the ASEA will work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And you go a lot into that in your books as far as like what is a healthy lifestyle and what to be doing at what times of the day, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. I love it how you have that very holistic approach where you're really understanding how we're living has got such a big impact with our health and well-being.
Yes, because obviously the idea is, the reason why the chi cycle is so profound, because the chi cycle allows us to actually follow the path of yin and yang. And yin and yang is actually yang, yin, and then yang and yin. So, and that reflects the breathing. Deep up breathe, deep breathing. So so the chi cycle allows you to constantly correct your breathing. And as you correct your breathing, every 2 hours automatically it sinks. And that means if it sinks, if the energy goes down into the sacrum, it will provide energy to your organs. Now the organs have fuel. If we live a hectic yang lifestyle, go, on the go, we're here. So instead of 20 breaths, 30 breaths, some people probably are almost Guinness Book of Records and do 50 breaths a minute. Yeah. So they're doing like 5 centimeters 50 times. Yes. Yeah. But the idea is to do like 1 meter 3 times a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, that I love that too, because even as a paramedic, we used to measure our own ECGs, our heart signals and our pulse oxes and breathing. And we had guidelines of how many breaths you should be taking a minute or what your pulse should be taking a minute. And I'd lay down and I'd do like, meditation exercise and stuff. And I'd get my breath down to 1.5 breaths per minute, and like, okay, like according to allopathic Western medicine, that person is dying, but I'm like feeling bliss. It's quite interesting how, science is useful, but it's also dangerous because it like sets up these expectations that are in a box, and life isn't like that. It's outside the box. That's what I love so much about what you do.
Yeah, I believe West and East need to work together.
Yeah.
The way my views on it, Western medicine got its position, got its place, but Western medicine will never understand Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine will have its place, but are never able to understand Western medicine. There are 2 totally different paradigms of reality.
Yeah.
And the problem arises when Western science tries to explain Chinese medicine or Chinese trying to explain Western. That's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not possible. It's just like, it's men and women. It's cold and wet. It's just like, it's hot and dry, whatever. It's opposite polar. It has nothing in common. And the idea is Western medicine is doing this part, good. Chinese medicine is doing this, and they do qi. And qi, you can't translate qi into Western terms. It's not possible. As soon as you give it the name like energy, etc., you actually can't describe it. So because in Qi is also the word consciousness. Qi translates as energy, consciousness, and information. So physics can measure the impact consciousness has on matter, but can't measure consciousness.
And that's what I love. Like, there's more holistic practitioners, really high level practitioners that are starting to talk about Western medicine, and much of the world has been looking at the world through a biochemical model. And we are more than biochemical beings. We are biophysical beings. And this is like quantum mechanics and quantum physics. And that's where I see Qi coming in, and even Redox, ASEA. It's about, anions and ions of atoms, and it's this whole shift between matter and consciousness and energy. And yeah, it's a completely different paradigm. It comes from a totally different philosophical root.
Yeah. Chinese medicine incorporates consciousness in the equation.
Yeah.
Western medicine can't.
Yeah.
So, because you can't measure consciousness. Chinese medicine understands you can't measure consciousness, therefore calls this Qi.
Yeah, but you certainly can manipulate it. Yeah.
As soon as you got a reference and experience of what Qi is, you can use the word and everyone understands. If you don't feel Qi and don't have a reference point, you can't use the word because you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So this is where the more experience you have about Qi, the more you actually can use the word. But it's a new word in the Western world, but I think soon it will be very popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
So means that what is in Qi is the ability to observe and to arrange according to your observation. So that translates to quantum mechanics. So in Qi, you are observing and you are ability to regulate what you observe. So now it gets very, very, very powerful. That means you can actually engage and get in sync and align with a very specific situation by sinking in, deep in, and then you can observe it while deep in there, and you can alter it according to how you perceive it. That means you actually self-heal yourself. And this is why I love ASEA, because ASEA assists in this process of going to transcend, to sink. It helps you to sink. So ASEA would be ideal before you do meditation, take some ASEA. Yeah. So before you do Tai Chi, take ASEA, so you really can see, because then you can observe then you have the ability to observe and regulate at the same time. While having, like this is obviously where the Chinese are coming into, the more we sink into the lower part of the body, the more we will be linked to the universal force that holds everything in its place. And that's gravity. So this is, we've got to be aware that we are surrounded by massive forces. And the forces are that this planet travels at 75,000 kilometers per hour and spins vertically horizontally at 45,000 kilometers per hour. But as you can see in your office, nothing is moving. It's still in the same position.
Yeah.
If you would put like a coffee cup on the dashboard of your car and then drive 20 kilometers, it would start moving. But if you put your coffee cup on a table, next day it's still there.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest enigmas in physics, and no one can explain exactly why that is. You can explain it from within the experience, but outside you can't actually get a formula in place, which is why Einstein trying to make it relative. So the Chinese understood that this is where we need to align with. And this is where the power of ASEA and mitochondria action is coming into, because the mitochondria is also a bit of an enigma in biology.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's obviously not an organelle. It's actually some sort of like extraterrestrial thing.
Yeah, it's got its own RNA. And
what's the origin of the mitochondria? No one really knows. Yeah. But in the biohacking, like Dave Asprey, for example, like the big biohackers who are trying to become 180 years of age, they're obviously all the focus is on the mitochondria. Yeah. In Chinese medicine, all the focus is on spleen qi and lung, because if you get spleen qi and lung, you will have longevity because you constantly rejuvenate the body. That means as you exert the energy, you rejuvenate. That's what the Chinese master is trying to attain. While I'm exerting, I'm rejuvenating. That means the instant recovery. That means I exercise and recover at the same time. And but the power development for us to move and to be able to generate power and therefore to recover quicker depends on the ability to align with those forces that hold everything in its place. Like this planet traveling so fast, all the other planets traveling so fast. We are surrounded by massive forces, left, right, and center, all around us. Physics calls this the ASEA tonal grid. That's the force that can measure, that holds everything in place. In Tai Chi, in Kung Fu, when we generate the power, we align with this blue grid and bang, and suddenly release the power. And so we don't generate the power, we align and it comes out. So it's like a big bang, but they call it Fa Jing, dong. And so that depends on the ability to sink in. So that means all athletic performance is in fact the result of how the body aligns with the forces. So you allow the body to express it. When people do high jump, they allow the body to express it. So this is obviously where the ASEA comes into, because ASEA assists in this process of sinking in. As ASEA assists in the process of sinking in, it allows to align with the forces and therefore to express it effectively. That's how it, from my perspective as a practitioner of Chinese medicine and Tai Chi, that's, from my perspective, that's how I believe why ASEA enhances performance, because it does. Because I've experimented in depth with it for 8 years now, and it enhances. There's no doubt about it. It just enhances.
Yeah, and I love that. I'm like you. I'm skeptical. I'm open-minded, but I'm still like want to experiment. And I've been off it a few times in my life. 3 times I've been off it for up to about a month or a couple of months. I think was the longest, and I felt the same thing. Yeah, it was like, oh, I'm lacking something. I'm missing something. I'm missing the same depth. I'm missing the same stillness, that almost the depth of my consciousness, like where I can relax into.
Yes, and the information exchange. And that's exactly what Qi is translated as, information exchange. And so when the way I look at what I know about from a science perspective, I see it's translated as the information exchange between the cellular level. And as information exchange is actually one of the translations of Qi.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's probably enlightened a lot of people on the call here. And I know we've talked about this, but I forgot that a little bit. And it's about, that's Qi is more than just energy. It's information exchange. That
energy,
is.
I mean, energy is only one aspect of the word Qi. I mean, it's like it comes down to the problem. What is energy? Yeah. You know, that's obviously now it gets very tricky, and so that's why the Chinese got in there the word consciousness and information, because now you actually got in energy.
Yeah.
If there's consciousness, you have energy. If there's information, you have energy.
Yeah. And we've seen that. Our experience with people that use the ASEA products, some of them have had enlightenings. They've really changed their lifestyle. Some of them have had a spiritual awakening as such, and they've really changed their life because they just feel
it goes to the root.
Yeah. Awesome.
It opens up the breathing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely, that's where the spleen lung connection is coming into. It opens up the breathing. But in that regard, it's also connected to the kidney, because lung, kidney. So because of the lung, kidney, because the lung takes it down to the kidney, in that regard, it's anti-aging, because the kidney is responsible for aging. So your energy in the kidney qi, the more you rejuvenate that on a daily basis, the slower you're aging. So people who smoke many cigarettes who take lots of drugs and will never sleep and on the go, they're using up the kidney energy.
Yeah.
So if there are no stop drugs and stop drinking and smoking, no, not drinking. I mean, glass of wine is a good idea.
Yeah, it's about balance.
Yeah, Chinese medicine love good wine. I love good red wine. Yeah. And I have not seen the danger in it. I experimented with that in depth myself. So
fantastic. Yeah, I'm a Pinot Noir, Central Ontario. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. Don't give that up.
Yeah, that's right.
Live correctly, build your chi, and enjoy good wine.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to love it, love life. And but yeah, you're talking about, and I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that with clients. I know you've helped people in my family and so forth when they are completely burnt out because they've been using these things as a crutch, as a way to lift them up. And that's always really stood out with your whole approach to that. Instead of just taking something away, which a person's been depending on, as learning to replace that and strengthen them. So did you want to talk a little bit about that? Because you're a real expert in that, in taking a person from burnout to having a good constitution again, to having enough energy to do their life again.
When you look at adrenal exhaustion is basically you're operating in the upper realm. You don't breathe deeply anymore.
Mm.
You never see anyone, adrenal exhaustion was like, what a lovely day. That's not adrenal exhausted, eh?
Yeah, totally.
Well, very good gear, or the person had some good sex, or the person is very healthy. Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, what adrenal exhaustion is, you don't allow fuel, oxygen, to go to your organs. That's all what it is. It's all happening here now. So of course, if you continue like this, it's like, if you keep like short breathing, eventually the system gonna go. That's it. So it needs to collapse, because as soon as you collapse and go like and die, I mean, when you sleep, what happens? You go, yeah. Now the problem is that obviously, if this is not established through skill, now it leads to sleep problems. Now it leads to sleep apnea. It leads to all kind of other problems, and that's the result of this issue not being established. So exhaustion is basically where the inner system, which is within, deep in the body, it's not getting the fuel it needs. So you can eat the best food, you can take the best supplements, and I've seen this over and over. If it's not sinking in, it will not get assimilated. So this is where when you reach adrenal exhaustion, you need more than just giving the nutrient that the body requires. You first of all need to assist the body to take the nutrients, to assimilate the nutrients.
Yeah.
So what is nutrient assimilation? Nutrient assimilation is nothing else. The chi, the breath, is going all the way down to the sacrum. That means it's going right to the small intestine, large intestine, and then in there it's connecting, and it's connecting the nutrients that are in the system and now bring them into the meridian system. And now the body is getting the nutrients. So if someone is exhausted, and the first thing what we do with them in my clinic is obviously learn breathing techniques to go deep into the root, just deep. First we teach nose breathing rather than mouth breathing. Slow breath through the nose, then slow out breath, but then keep it for 10 seconds before the in-breath starts. And then slowly breathe in via the nose. So we do everything with nose breathing in Tai Chi. We don't do mouth breathing. The mouth is not designed to breathe. In adrenal exhaustion, people use their mouth, not their nose. What happens is in adrenal exhaustion, people get blocked nose. So now they're relying more on the mouth. But if you do mouth breathing, you're not getting the sinking feel. You're not getting the chi into the root. If you don't get the chi into the root, doesn't matter what nutrients you take, it will not work. It will not get assimilated. So this is where first of all, we need to assist the person to understand, I need to sink. I go, all the way down, keep it there, hold the in-breath and slowly go up to the out-breath and then in-breath. And this is where ASEA is essential in this process, because ASEA, naturally, because it's an information exchange, it's a chain reaction. It is in fact now allowing this process to occur because the mitochondria is directly connected to breathing. And that's obviously oxygen production. That's where the free radicals are. So that's where the spleen is coming into. Like, for example, with this coronavirus stuff, if the spleen is strong, that means there's no phlegm accumulation in the lung.
Yeah.
So that means the breath is all the way deep. If the spleen is strong, you breathe like a baby. That's why children can't get coronavirus, apparently. So if you breathe, if your spleen is strong, your breath will go all the way to the root and then hold it there, bring it back up again. You automatically go into deep breathing if the spleen is strong. So if the spleen is strong, that means it will transform and transport fluids. That's the action of the spleen, transformation and transportation. So fluids will get transformed. That means they can't now generate phlegm that's now accumulating in the lungs. If phlegm is accumulating in the lung, which is due to lifestyle, what happens is the breathing automatically gets shallow. It's like you've got a 3-meter swimming pool and you're putting mud into it. Eventually, you only got like 30 centimeters to swim in.
Yeah.
So exhaustion is nothing else than swimming, trying to do laps in 30 centimeter water. Not possible. I mean, you can do it, but it's stupid. So, so because it's the mud is so deep, that means that the breathing is shallow. So obviously, you can't now. There is no ability for the organs to be rejuvenated. There's no production. So nutrient assimilation is not taking place. So you could eat now the best food, but you will starve.
Yeah.
So what happens now is obviously it can't be converted into energy. So now it becomes weight gain. Initially, the phlegm leads to fluid gain. That means suddenly fluid retention in the legs. Suddenly you get weight gain. You don't know why. Then it becomes proper weight gain. So that now it turns into like weight gain, like obesity and things like that. So if you start dieting, you're not doing much because you still only got 30 centimeters of water to swim in. And that's enough to get fit. So the first thing what we're going to do is obviously we're going to clean out the phlegm. Yeah. In order to clean out the lungs so that you got a proper swimming pool, in order to do that, we need to sink the breath all the way to the ground and up. That's obviously the aim of the meditation, the yoga, the Tai Chi. But this is where the ASEA is coming into, because ASEA, due to the information exchange and the chain reaction, molecular chain reaction, it's doing exactly that spleen function of transformation and transportation. Now it stirs up the mud and stirs it up, and you get movement happening, and now the swimming pool gets clean.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I'm loving hearing you talking about this, because to me I'm just finding a lot of connections. When we're teaching people to do presentations, we talk to them, we teach them about sinking into, for the women, the womb space, or the dantian, the hara, the sacral chakra, and speak from the gut, and just how much more impactful that is when a person speaks from that part of their body. It's more authentic. Often they say less, but people hear more.
Yes, correct.
It's so much more powerful.
More impact.
Yeah.
That's the power of chi. That's kung fu. Boom.
Yeah. I love that. What was that word you said? It's that aligning with the forces.
Aligning with the forces, yeah. So align with the forces, then allow to express it. Yeah,
allow that to express it.
That's what sex is. Sex, that's why sex in Chinese medicine is important for health, because in the moment of sexual arousal, all the meridians open up, and that moment, what happens now is that in that moment, as soon as the meridians open up, the qi goes all the way to the lungs and to the kidneys, And now the body aligns with the forces. That means in that moment, you are able to express energy. So you can be very tired and not interested. As soon as you get aroused sexually, tiredness disappears.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because the meridians open up and align with gravity. And gravity is always present. You can't exhaust gravity. Doesn't matter how many people jump out of the plane tomorrow or jump up and down, we will not be able to exhaust gravity. Yes, it's infinite, ever present. And that's what sex is about. It's infinite and present. So obviously, as we now get more and more and more into the alignment, it gets more and more exciting. And now we want to really, truly express that. And now we go really deep into the kidney. And in kidney is the jing. And now we become one with the jing. And that's orgasm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously then it's over, yeah?
Yeah.
So you should stay there, yeah? Should stay in jing, don't go further. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's very hard to do. That's where mastership is coming into. They'll stay there. Yeah. They don't go that extra millimeter.
Yeah, that's right. That's tantra and all that sort of stuff, right?
That's why after orgasm, after when sex is done, we feel good because the energy is actually truly moved through the whole body.
Yeah, big flood.
And that's so basically what it is. What sex is: align with the forces and express express the energy.
Yeah. Awesome, fantastic. Okay, so that sounds amazing. We've had a question around nebulizing ASEA. Obviously, we don't prescribe that, but yes, many of us do use our nebulizers with ASEA. And is it powerful because it's going directly into the lungs from a mitochondrial point of view and sinking into yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I use my Tai Chi techniques for that, yes.
Yeah, I think you can do both. And I think even just drinking it, the overall global impact of the Redox, that's helping you sink in.
Yeah.
I think the nebulizing is probably...
Drink ASEA and learn how to breathe. That's what I would recommend.
That's awesome. So simple, right?
Yes, very simple.
Yeah.
It's always simple. If it's complicated, it's not health.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. We've had a request to put your books and the book titles into the post. So when we post this out to our group and Jost, when you get your link and you're posting, I'm sure people want to know about your books. I think we gave a heap of these to a bunch of our executives in the team. The Perfect Day Plan. Absolutely love that book, but this is a more recent book for those of you that haven't.
One came out last year, and that's now picked up by UK publisher and by Random House in Europe. So it's going to be all over Europe. So but that edition you got there, that's the one we did here in Australia, and that's going to be a collector's item. So because they're going to change the cover. So because I used deliberately. I used all the quirky characters in the book. I mean, you can show maybe some of the quirky characters.
Oh yeah, like these guys.
Yeah. I deliberately instead of calling it the lung qi, the spleen qi, I wanted to bring up. The aim was to bring Chinese medicine back to simplicity and its fairy tale, because it was storytelling. So the book is like a storytelling about quirky characters, and like the lung. The large intestine is the cleaner, the lung is the knight, and the spleen is the builder. Yeah, rule your kingdom, the heart. Yeah. So it's so because once you understand, that's it. Yeah, once you understand the character, you will have a relationship with your organs, because most people don't have a relationship with organs.
Yeah,
organs make up reality. So in adrenal exhaustion, you are disconnected from your organs because you're in the upper level of the breathing. You don't know your organs anymore. But your organs are what make you strong. And that's obviously what we need. That's why we need ASEA, because it opens up to the organs, information exchange. So then what I would recommend is understand what each organ is doing. Take ASEA. You will take the whole health level to the next level, because the more you understand, the more you will participate, the more you're able to regulate. Because Chinese medicine is qi. Qi means consciousness. That means I am able to observe and regulate. So that means if I understand what each organ is doing, my consciousness will now enhance. The more I understand and participate, the healthier I will become. That's how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I often say that in my health coaching. Health is a choice. And getting educated and getting empowered and understanding the process, you're just going to accelerate it, amplify it, and
The more you know, the knowledge is power. The more you know, and the more you participate, the healthier you become. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
And what I always talk about in Clock On in particular, it's particular with this current situation, because at the moment there's so much fear in society, uncertainties, etc. And as a result of that is people have all kinds of symptoms. But the idea is not to buy into the symptoms, to actually transcend the symptom. The symptoms appear always on the upper part. And the idea is to, when you wake up, you work with your cleaner. That means you clean out your lung first. You clean out your garbage. That's what the cleaner is all about. If you got phlegm in the lungs and you wake up to a symptom and you believe the symptoms, you make the symptom worse. You accumulate the phlegm in the lungs, and now you open up to all kinds of other complications. So the idea is, whatever symptom you have in the mornings, and in the book, Clock On, I outline 220 different symptoms you can have, like shortness of breath, like body ache, all kinds of stuff. This relating to certain organs, to certain character. So the idea is now to be aware of that, and then sink into it through your breath. And automatically you go to the deeper part, and then the cleaner, the large intestine, will clean it out. So then after, when you're finished, you've got no phlegm in your lung. That means you are able to breathe all the way down, and that means you will not get symptoms. The symptoms will not develop into a problem. That means you are healthy. And because you're breathing all the way down, because the cleaner cleaned it all out for you, you feel positive. And Qi also relates to opportunities. So Qi means you see opportunities. So if the lung is full with phlegm, it's covered in phlegm, that means from debris, whatever lifestyle, you can't see opportunities. But if you clear it all out, let the cleaner all clean it out, the water is clear. You see opportunities left, right, and center. Doors open. So that's why every morning, do not listen to news. Do not listen to the news. Don't open the phone. Don't listen to anything, because it's only fear mongering. We can't go there. We need to provide solutions. We are leaders here. We got to guide people, not to spread fear. In order to guide people, we need to see the new. We need to see what's next, because everything seems to be going to a crash. That means now we need to see the new. We need to see something new. We need to see where can we go new, because the world that we used to know, that world doesn't seem to be the next anymore. It seems to be that world seems to be dying somehow. And there's definitely something new coming forward, because that virus is a mystery virus. No one knows what it is. But in the mystery, that means there's new opportunity. But in order to see that, we need clean water, not muggy water. That's why we need to live correctly. So everyone here who is a health professional, everyone wants to be a guide and leader of humanity. If we wake up and we clean out the lungs, we clean everything out, and we put the Qi deep into the sacrum, into the kidney, we align with the forces, we suddenly see what it is. And then we hold on to it, and then bang, we move into breakfast, and the stomach, the peacemaker, will actually settle it all. And then we get the peace feel. We go, this is all, we feel peace. And now we go into the world by radiating calm and peace. We're neutralizing fear. But then the energy moves into the spleen, which is the builder. And we have seen the vision while being in the clean water in the mornings. We now can see what we need to build. And now we tell everyone what we built. And now we're spreading excitement. We're spreading the new. So we're basically participating in the development of a new economy.
One of the great sayings in our industry is good leaders have good vision, but great leaders give great vision. Great leaders give great vision. And that's exactly what you're saying. I had some other big connections there as well with Vipassana. I was actually supposed to be on a 10-day silent retreat with Vipassana right now, which was cancelled due to the current lockdown. But yeah, amazing, because Vipassana as a system is 2,500 years old, purely a meditation system. You know, the Buddha did not create a religion. He created a meditation and a breathing process. And that was all about the transformation of our blocks and what's keeping us, you know, small, and realizing our potential, aligning with the forces. And what your explanation to me has just really enlightened me and opened my brain up to the more practical applications and clinical applications in our body, but also to create our future with that cleaning the water, cleaning the pool water through the breathing in the morning with the lung. It's just beautiful, Jost. That's freaking awesome, mate.
We need to, because with all this fear around, we need to show people a future.
Yeah.
And in order to show the future, we need to sink deep in. For that, we need ASEA.
Yeah. Fantastic. You're an extraordinary man. I always love spending time with you, Jost. I'm super grateful for everything that you do in the world. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the call, it was years ago that I know Jost had actually supervised over 55,000 cases, both clients and as a lecturer and a clinic supervisor. So we're really getting the benefit of an extraordinary amount of clinical experience. Very few practitioners have been able to oversee anywhere near that number, 55,000 cases. And this was like 10 years ago or something. I think that was the facts for you. So yeah, just extraordinary. I'm super grateful for the information you've shared today. Any parting words of advice or anything before we wrap up?
Don't buy into the fear, see the future, sink deeply into the sacrum, feel the connection to the forces, and then express the energy. And drink ASEA.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Lots of great compliments coming in here. Thanks for your great advice. Legend. Could listen to you all day. Thank you so much for your magnificence. So that's amazing, Jost. You're amazing. Thank you very much, everyone, for being on the call, and for likewise having the vision and to make it a better world, to be leaders and make an impact out there. We will post these recordings. And by all means, connect with Jost, and his treatment is amazing. I absolutely love it. I think there were a couple of questions here about combining Chinese herbs at the flyer. Great webinar. No, mainly all just compliments, more compliments coming to you. And we'll definitely post the titles of your books and so forth, and how you can get in touch with Jost. So thank you, Jost, for all you do. Thank you, everyone. Go out there and make a big impact today.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.